All right, welcome to the Body of Work project for Graph Design 2. In this PDF or PowerPoint presentation, we're going to go over the actual project, which is 3 or more images that relate in theme or style and technique. So here's an example of Body of Work by Jim Lee. Again, a body of work is a series, usually 3 or more graphic design images that relate in theme, concept, or style and technique medium. So example, a series of pencil drawings by Jim Lee for a Batman series. The theme concept is the darker, grittier version of the Dark Knight. The technique medium is pencil on paper. The drawings can vary in size and composition, however. So they feel like they belong in the same world, essentially. Kind of think of it that way. These are the color versions of Jim Lee's work. As a comic book artist, you tend to work with other artists in collaboration to make the final product. So there's a different inker and colorist. So Lee's responsibility is the pencils. So here's Erin Lowell Denton, who is a graphic designer, and the style is very consistent in these. So they're different kinds of posters, and the style feels very similar in some ways, stylistically. So that's the part that carries across, even though the content is very different. Gene Julian, another artist, graphic designer, who the, the drawing style is very consistent throughout these, and the graphics have a very unique look, but they all share a sort of consistency throughout in terms of style, and that makes it very relatable. Rather, it's on a graphic poster or a shirt, for example, here. Milton Glaser, another graphic designer. These first series is all about text. The I Love New York series, and it was very consistent design in this series, along with JetBlue, and then here's another example of Milton Glaser, the Seed series. And I just want you to see how the Seed series relates thematically throughout in different sort of materials. So we went from like a graphic poster to here more of a drawing style, a more painting style, to an actual website, but the whole content is very similar in theme, including these little icons here. Todd McFarlane, a comic book artist, one of the founders of Image, along with Jim Lee, who you saw before, who did the Batman. And his comic book Spawn has a very consistent look and feel, regardless if he does the issue or someone else does it. The one on the left is McFarlane, the one on the right is actually another artist, Greg Capullo, who did the cover. Todd hired many different people to do different covers for the 300 issue because it was a groundbreaking, basically the longest running independent comic book out there in the history, which is pretty cool. So he broke some new records. So, but if you look inside the pages, they're very consistent in terms of the dark, the lights, the coloring, the overall style, and the effect. I wanted to throw in my images, different series you may or may not have seen, the Cyborg series. So they are cyborgs, they're very kind of illustrative, very graphic, and dark, but they all kind of relate thematically, obviously through the cyborg, but also visually, they have a very consistent kind of look, regardless of what kind of cyborg they are, whether it be a male, female, or a child sort of figure, or a young cyborg. Each of them has a very consistent look. So the idea of the body of work, again, create 3 or more graphic design images that relate in theme, concept, or style. The ideas for your project should be your own and original. You cannot copy other artists' work, so it's very important not to just copy someone else. If, for example, if you like Bugs Bunny and you want to draw cartoons, you can draw cartoons of your own design, just not Bugs Bunny or any other copyright work. If the graphic design image is simple in design execution, you should have more than 3 pieces. A body of work can be up to 20 or more graphic design images. If your work is rather complex and time consuming, then you can have 3 graphic works as your total body of work. But if you have something that's less, it's simpler in design execution, you should go into a higher range, perhaps as much as 8 images, depending on how simple they are. Choose a consistent medium, pencil, pen, or paintbrush tools in Photoshop. For all the graphics, you can work in color or black and white, but the style should be consistent. The graphic design images should look as if they belong in that same world that you created again. So each image should be at least 8.5 by 11 inches in size by 300 resolution. You could do the tabloid size 11 by 17s. I believe that's what I did here for these cyborgs here. Totally up to you on that, whichever kind of way you want to go about it. That's pretty much the end of this project. So have fun exploring your own body of work. Until next time, see you soon in Adobe Photoshop. Cheers!